So I'm here to discuss what's Tobin's Q, or also known as the Q ratio, and what does it have to do with investment itself. So the Q ratio, also known as Tobin's Q, as I've said earlier, equals the market value of a company divided by its assets replacement cost. Thus, equilibrium is when market value equals replacement cost. At its most basic level, the Q ratio expresses the relationship between market valuation and intrinsic value. Or in other words, in layman terms, it is a means of estimating whether a given business or market is overvalued or undervalued. So we have main formula given for Tobin's Q. As for numerator, we have total market value of firm, and as your denominator is total asset value of firm. So if you have a notebook beside you, you can take your notes and write down what I'm saying, or the formula itself. So since the Q ratio is calculated through the market value of a company divided by the replacement value of the firm's assets, to get this, it's almost difficult to estimate. So we have another version of the formula. This is often used by the company analyst, to estimate Tobin's Q. So as it follows, if you have your notes, take you can write it down. As an alternate formula, we have equity as a numerator. We have equity market value plus liabilities market value as our numerator. Over that, as our denominator, we have equity book value plus liabilities book value. So often the assumption is made the market value and the book value of a company's liabilities are equivalent. This reduces this version of the Tobin's Q ratio to the following. So when it's reduces and simplified already, we have Tobin's Q equals, as its numerator, we have equity market value, and as its denominator, we have the equity book value. So there are few key takeaways in Tobin's Q or Q's ratio. So we have the Q ratio was popularized by Novell Laureate James Tobin, and it was invented in 1966 by Nicholas Kaldor. So also the Q ratio, also known as Tobin's Q, it measures whether a firm or an aggregate market, an enterprise, a corporation, is relatively overvalued or undervalued, as to say. Also, it relies on the concept of market value and replacement value. So lastly, as a key takeaway, the simplified Q ratio is the equity market value divided by equity book value. That's the simplified Q ratio, or the formula for Q ratio, which was mentioned earlier by me, and I hope you have taken note of that. And for example, I hope you have your notes still, and for you to calculate the Q ratio or the Tobin's Q, as an example, the formula for Tobin's Q ratio takes the total market value of the firm and divides it by the total asset value of the firm. For example, as to say, assume that a company has a $35 million US dollar in assets. It also has 10 million shares outstanding that are trading for $4 a share, each share. So in this example I've mentioned, the Tobin-Skew equation would be the total market value of firm, which was 40 million US dollar. Then as we have in denominator the total asset value of a firm, we have 35 million US dollar. So you just divide it. So 40 million US dollar divided by 35 million US dollar is equals to 1.14. So in example, that's 1.14. So that's the answer to Tobin-Skew, or that is Tobin-Skew itself, or EQ ratio. And I guess that's all. And I hope you've learned something from this little discussion. And yeah, peace out.